Hi, this is Carl from Linguagenesis, and what I want to do in this series of videos, and here is the first part of 3, is to discuss how I believe the Michel Thomas methodology works in order to enable anyone who is interested in learning a modern foreign language to achieve that particular goal. But at the same time, I think it's important to realise that as tutees, as individuals interested in learning modern foreign language, that we try to become as aware as possible of our own language learning styles and how we endeavour to become linguistically proficient, orally linguistically proficient in the modern foreign language which we have chosen to take up. And what I have here in front of me is a number of sheets of paper, one underneath the other, on which I've made a number of different comments. Here on the first, we have the spoken language as the most common form of expression. And basically all I'm saying here is that verbal communication is much more common and is much more widespread than, for example, any written communications. So in other words, we speak the language much more frequently than we write it down. So if you were to take any period of time, then you would find obviously that more words had been spoken in the form of verbal communication than would have been exchanged in written communications. So let's move on to the second sheet that we have here. And here we have a comment which suggests, and obviously which is true, that the spoken form of any language, whether it be the mother tongue or a modern foreign language, imitates realistic language learning. So, in the case of learning a modern foreign language, the acquisition of the vocabulary is much more realistic if it is in line with the way in which we learn our mother tongue. So that is what that's saying. So what we do, obviously, as we're growing up as children in English, learning our first language, we gather the skills to be able to speak the language, listen to the spoken form of the language before, in later years, we learn how to read the language, and then, slightly later on, learn to write the language. So that's the first part. The reason why I'm breaking this down into 3 parts is that the mobile phone which I'm using seems to be taking quite a lot of megabytes up in terms of the memory which is being required for each of these videos. So here is the first part, and I'll now continue with part 2.